Greetings, Battle Brothers. It's me, Aurelia Tempris, defender of the Golden Throne and servant of humanity. I apologize. I am a little bit late. I am a little bit late. I was doing a little bit of babysitting for Cha-Cha, so I apologize in advance. So sorry about that. But for those of you who got to join, we drew a lovely, well, I didn't draw it, we colored a lovely picture of my friend Cha-Cha. Mods, can we get a shout out or that little command for Cha-Cha, please? Could we do that? Oh, man, thank you, Shadow, for the bits. How goes the war against the Chaos Glitter? The glitter is everywhere. I went to the bathroom, and there was glitter on my face. There's glitter under my fingernails. I washed my hands, and there is still glitter. I washed my hands twice, and there is still glitter. Glitter is the work of Slanesh. It is always in excess, and you can't escape it. You just can't escape it. Keep it up, you're doing great. Thank you so much, Daryl. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You're gonna be finding glitter for the next 5 years. I know, I know. I'm gonna get a vacuum in here. I'm gonna get a vacuum in here. So. Oh, Kyber, thank you so much for the 5 months of support. Yeah, I'll never be rid of the glitter. Never. Never. I'm worried that if I rub my eyes that, I'm gonna get glitter in my eyes, which would be not good. Would be really bad. I'm tense, though. I'm tense. I was, like, leaning over, making the prettiest picture one could ever see. Don't worry, in France, we're used to being late. I try not to be late, but it was a last minute. She's doing a lovely subathon, and she needed some help with a bit of she just wanted some help because she needed to eat, which is important. Definitely eat. So I was like, sure, why not? We'll do that. We'll do that. And Rose, thank you so much. Rosoki, thank you for the 5 months of support as well from you. I appreciate it. So today, why isn't YouTube coming up? Excuse me. That's rude. 1 second. There we go. It's so weird. I have to log into the place that uses the chat box for YouTube, and if I don't log in every once in a while, it turns the chat box off. Like and I shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have to log in every like every week or every 2 weeks. I see you. I don't know why your texts weren't coming up, your messages. So. In any case. So, today, we are going to be watching Star Wars vs. Warhammer 40k. It's a series by a fan with too much time. We've really enjoyed it. We are on episode... What are we on? We are on episode... I had it pulled up. Off. Episode 24. So, but we're gonna hang out for a little bit. We're gonna hang out for a little bit. I'm a little tired now. I was tired before, but now I'm very tired. And I need more Baja Blast or Gamer Subs discount code Aurelia in my body. In my body. Sorry, my model's gonna look weird while I'm taking sips. Oh man. Can we do a nap stream? Can we do a napping stream where I just lay here and fall asleep and that's it? Can we do that? Is that allowed? I would like to sleep, fall asleep. Arthur, thank you so much for the for being subscribed for 2 months. Thank you. I'm so glad you guys are here. Anyone playing the new Monster Hunter game? I just played an hour so far. Oh, and you're having fun? I haven't played Monster Hunter. I've heard it's really, really good, but I've never played it, and I have no free time. So as much as I would like to play it, I just can't. Or I don't make the time to play it. How about that? It's probably more accurate. Oh, I didn't set my... One sec. I didn't set my status. Let's fix that. Save. And... I don't know who showed up today while I was hanging out with Cha-Cha, but I told a really funny story. So Cha-Cha basically said that I was gonna babysit her chat, and I thought it was funny that that's how she described me, like watching her chat for like an hour or so. And so today when I was at the store getting a couple materials for, you know, just for that, the lady at the counter said to me, like, oh, are you gonna have a good weekend? You got anything fun planned? I'm like, oh, last minute babysitting gig, because I thought, haha, little does she know. Like, I am technically babysitting, but not really. And then she asked me, oh, like, how old are they? And I was like, oh, well, that's... I was like, that's an interesting question. I don't know how to answer that, but I basically told him, like, oh, well, there's just a lot of them, so there are a lot of different ages. Because if I told her they're like, someone in her chat said 18 to 50-year-olds, and I'm like, then she would be like, you're a little weird, honey. And I thought it was hilarious. I was like, oh, they're just various ages. She's like, oh, well, it must be exhausting then. I'm like, I mean, it's fine, it's good, we have fun. So yeah, that could have been interesting. Could have been interesting. Thought I'd be all coy about it. Did not work. Dude. I'm just gonna... Bro, I don't know if I have glitter in my eyes or something, but my eyes, like, I want to rub them and close them and just... That lady was right. It did take a lot out of me. It did. It did. Babysitting Cha-Cha's chat. No wonder you're tired. It was they were really chill. They're really nice. They were really chill. Except for one part, I said I was gonna put them down for bed. Because that's how, like, my parents have said things. And they thought I was gonna put them down, and I was like, no. 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 Wash your hands again before rubbing. It's too late. My hand, it's too late, my dude. It's too late. That means I'd have to get up. It's too late. It's not like a lot of glitter. There's some glitter. Okay, there's more glitter than I thought on my hands. It's too late. It's too late. Don't lie, you were threatening that one guy. No, I wasn't. I legitimately wasn't. I just told him I was gonna put him to bed. And then he's like, oh, no, I wasn't actually doing that. The glitter spreads, yeah, it's fine. I'm just tired now. The glitter of eternal sleepiness. Coat your hands in a protective layer of glue to trap the glitter. I could get my hot glue gun. Do you think that'll work? Do you think if I put hot glue directly on my hands, do you think that will get the glue off? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I won't do that. I won't put hot glue on my hands. I know better. I know better. Better than handling peppers and then rubbing your eyes. Yeah, I don't do that. I'm pretty smart about that. Chacha would say, be good and do as she says or I'll put you down myself. That is kind of up her alley. She'll take you out with the chancla. She'll take you out and not in the way you want. You don't want to mess with that. You don't. Oh, you know what we should get out? Because we've got the vibes today. Let me... Well, we're gonna snuggle with the skitter today. I don't pull him out very often. I don't pull it out very often. Ah, Lucario, thank you so much. I'm glad you like my model. I appreciate that. I like it too. Alright, let me see. Did I have stories? Did I have a... Nope, I didn't have any stories. I'm trying to think of anything that was interesting. Oh, I'm really close. This is really dumb and really silly. But I have, I started reading Warhammer books about 2 years ago. April of 2023. Yes, 2023. And I have been reading a ton. Just like a lot in general. So, one of the things that I've been trying to do is average 2 books a month. Because I realized I was really close. So right now, I've read 45 books. And if I read 3 more in the month of March, I will have hit an average of 2 Warhammer books a month. I'm really looking forward to it. So I just finished, Magnus the Red, Master of Prospero, I think. Funny enough, I actually learned more about Perturabo in that book than I feel like I learned about Magnus. I mean, I learned some things, but I feel like I learned a lot about Perturabo, which just sounds weird. LJ, thank you for the super chat. Much like the spores of the greenskins, the glitter never truly goes away. No, it doesn't. I just started the Corvus books. Ooh, okay. I want it. Is it the Primarch one or is it the one that's just called Corax? Because the Primarch novels from the Horus Heresy are all like, it's all like Primarch name and then Conqueror or something of the planet they were found on. The Primarch one, okay. That's the one I need to read because I read the Corax one. God, thank you for the super chat. Do you like Caster the Mad? I am not familiar enough, but you've also caught me at a sleepy time. You've also caught me at a sleepy time. How dare you say I'm choke holding the skitter? No, I'm holding the skitter nicely. A chokehold me implies that I'm holding it by the neck or around the neck. No, I'm hugging its plump little belly. Its plump little belly. Excuse you. The plump belly. How dare you. It was only that one time that I accidentally harmed a skitter. And that it was an accident. It was 100% an accident. I treat skitters with respect unless they steal my Code Red and my Mountain Dew. Then you're overfeeding it. No! Skitter eats what Skitter wants. Oh, Sergio, thank you so much for the comment. I do like my model. I love the design. It's really nice. I'm glad you like it too. That was one of the things I was worried about when I was starting my VTubing career. I'm like, man, I really hope they like my model. And that's what I'm nervous about when I've been planning my, when I've been planning my 2.0 model. I'm like, oh, it's gonna look good, but like, will they like it? Will they like it? Ooh, it's a little nerve-wracking, but it's fine. It'll be okay. You're fine. I'm cuddling with all my little Ripper Swarm. See? see. It's cute. Yeah, I'm just, I want my 2.0 model to look good. I like the style, I just worry it's not gonna be me enough that I will lose out on, I don't know, there's a lot, I feel like there's a lot of personality that's just kind of come with this model, and maybe it's just because I've used it, maybe it's just because I've used it more often, so I know all of like the little quirks and the different facial expressions I can do, so I'm comfortable with it. And I worry that I'm gonna lose some of that like life that I have in this model when I get a new one, even though it's gonna be better. So, what do you think of Peter Turbo now? Okay, so Peter Turbo, I actually didn't know that he and Magnus had a very chill relationship, that they worked really, really well together, that they like appreciated each other's like pragmatism. It was so sweet, and I learned a little bit more. Obviously, you know, Perturabo's like, he wants to build, he wants to design and do like cool things that are not meant for war, and in some of the buildings and the mechanisms that he made, the book basically described how there was a bit of like artistry, but it was like tempered in a way that it was functional artistry. So it wasn't just stiff and bland. It had a little bit of flair to it that I didn't think about before that he would have included. I thought that was really cool. Got any Blood Angel books you recommend? Yes, Fear to Tread. Fear to Tread is like a really good Sanguinius Blood Angels book. Devastation of Baal, if you want one Blood Angel book, Dante. There. I gave you 3. That should be good. Will 2.0 be a replacement or a new outfit? Replacement. So I love my model. My current model is great, but it has some limitations in terms of expressiveness. I really like the armor when I got it from my artist, but I want it to be, I want to work on the branding a little bit more, so I really want to upgrade it into something nicer, and that like fits more of like a Warhammer look. That's all I'll say, because I don't want to spoil what I have planned too much, but I do want to make my armor a little bit different. So it'll be a replacement, but I think a good one. A lot of love and effort's going to go into it. My model artist is going to be working on my new, like my art this month. I've been waiting for like 5-6 months, and we're finally here. Oh, I can't wait. It's gonna look so good. It's gonna look so good. And we won't get too many toggles in the beginning, but we're gonna get some nice toggles. Some cool looking toggles. The Night Lord's Omnibus is a good page turner. Yes. I read the first one, Soul Hunter, and I need to read the other 2, but like I enjoyed it so much, I want to like take my time. I liked it. I think my next goal though is to like, I think I want to like read all of the Horus Heresy books. So I think that's my next plan. Read all of the Horus Heresy books, not in any particular order. Hey, those are some nice toggles you got there. Wait, hang on. I can do that. I can do a right eye wink better than a left eye wink. Not me sitting here just... The Horus Heresy books are pretty awesome, but it took me 2 years to get about halfway through. How many are there? There's like 61? 61, I think? 61, 62? No, 64. 64, right? 64? At least it's not 69. Let's see, how many Horus Heresy books are there? I'm looking it up. do. 74. How many Horus... I spelled that wrong. Horus Heresy books are there? 64! 64! Well, someone said 63, but that's pretty close. I got it right. I was like, wait, no, it's in the mid-60s. Will you still have the ears? You'll have to see. I feel like I couldn't get rid of the ears. I feel like if I got rid of them, you guys would riot. Is that true? Is this true, though? Would you guys riot if I got rid of my ears? Like... 64 as of January 2024. Yes, that's true. They may add on more, but if they do, it's gonna be like side battles and stuff. Yeah, they would riot. See, look, you guys would riot if I got rid of the pointed ears. If I wasn't stuck with them before, I'm stuck with them now. I'm not an Eldar. No. No. Why do you do this to me? I would riot just so you get confused. Okay. Look, punishment tweets don't count. I made that statement under duress. That tweet was made under duress. Okay? Ooh, Ryan, you got some new paints. Ooh, those look like good colors. Several. Oh wait, I got some paints. Pro acrylic, dark. Okay. Nice. Sounds like you're gonna have fun. It's in writing, yeah, but just because something is like, look. People. I'm pretty sure it's like a legal thing that if someone does something under duress, it like doesn't count. For example, like if you, let's say someone is, how do I put this so I don't like get in trouble? If someone is like forcing you to make your estate over to like someone else, like to change your like last will and testament, like, and they find out later that you were under duress, they're gonna be like, okay, well then the original will stands, not the one that was just made. It's like a legal thing. It's a legal thing. Wasn't the tweet technically bribery? No. I didn't bribe you. I did no bribing. What is that? That's a skitter. Don't look at my skitter. It's my little chat. Not a chat mascot. My chat has just adapted it. They don't allow confessions if the judge believes the defendant was coerced into signing it. Thank you. Thank you, inebriated. I appreciate you. First chat, incredibly based. Incredibly based first chat. Thank you for agreeing with me. I appreciate it. Oh, Dino, thank you for the bits. I've been taking a break from 40k books and reading Warhammer Fantasy, mainly Gotrek and Felix. Oh yeah, I should read those. I keep saying I will, but I'm lost in the sauce when it comes to Warhammer 40k. You can't pull me out of that. Can't pull me out of that. Mm-mm. We need a count of how many times Aurelia has been called an Eldar. No, oh my gosh, no. Look, man, you can't count it. It's over 100. It's over 100 at this point. Like, you can't. You would have to go through every stream, which is like over like 100 streams at this point. So, yeah, no, there's no way. Gone. Thank you again for another super chat. Have you seen the fan-made Dornian Heresy? Yes, I have seen that. My favorite part is Erebus perpetually burning on a stick. I love that. The stick is a very loose term, so please don't come after me for that. So yeah, that's my favorite part of it. But I haven't gotten like super into it. I've heard of it, but I've not really delved into that lore. Scientific fanfic. Oh my gosh, I saw you yesterday. Thank you so much for the bits, my dude. Dude, you were a monster yesterday. 100 subs in Cha-Cha's Cha-Cha's subathon. You're a beast. I know she thanked you for it, but dang. I'll thank you for her too. And thank you for the bits. I appreciate it. To be honest, I alone have I've said that Aurelia is an Eldar at least 30 times. At least. And you technically did it there, so that would be 31. And yes, I loved babysitting for Cha-Cha. It was enjoyable. I just hope they liked it. It was kind of an out of the box stream for me. I couldn't get it out of my head. I was like, we got to do arts and crafts. Arts and crafts. How goes my Friday? I'm sleepy. I'm tired. I know I promised. I know I said Star Wars versus 40K. And I'm debating if we'll do that, and I feel so bad. Maybe we can watch it tomorrow, but I know people like stay up to like watch this, so I feel really bad. I feel really bad because I know people stay up and they drink caffeine really late to see it. I'm like, no. I gotta figure that out. I've not been sleeping too well for some reason. Very restless. Keep having dreams. Not anything that's like exciting. They're just like, I just will dream of things and things happen. So, oh man, I don't know why it's going on. Napstodes, oh my gosh, oh. That's beautiful. I'm gonna, okay, we should do this whenever I have a 24-hour stream. That should be my title. Napstodes, because you'll get like the I'm just sleeping portion, because there's no way I'm doing 24 hours like where I'm awake the whole time. That's nuts. I could not. I probably could if I put my mind to it, but I'm not willing to do that to myself. I'm not. I at least gotta take a little nap or a little break in there. See? I'm hyperactive, you don't need to worry about me. Thank you, ALJ. Thank you for the super chat. Going back to like all the super chats. I forget I need to do that. Okay, maybe I got them all. I think I missed one. If you're not up to watching Star Wars vs. Warhammer tonight, may I suggest The Last Hope of Humanity by Astartes Anonymous as a shorter alternative? Perhaps. And I have to take a look at it. I kind of like to look at stuff. I'm not cool like Fillion where, I'm not like Fillion where Fillion's like, here, send me your videos. And then she'll just put them up on the screen. I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know what you guys would send me. I'm like, oh, I'm not that bold. What Froggy does, it's not a big deal. But isn't she? No, she did her subathon last week. Yeah, last week. It's 1:30 here. Sorry if that makes you feel bad. I know you guys stay up. We can chat. What if we chat? I don't mind chatting. I just don't want to be like so tired and I'm yawning while I watch fans hard work and everyone's like, wow, look how ungrateful she is because she's yawning. I feel bad. I don't want people to think I'm just it's difficult because I like reacting to things, especially because you guys get really excited about me reacting to certain series, to certain videos, but like at times I'm like, oh man, I feel bad because so many people put like effort into their videos and I just sit here and I make my comments and sometimes I'm really funny. I just think more creative endeavors are, it's fairer. It's more fair to the people that spent the time to make those videos that I do something unique and creative versus just watching other people's stuff all the time. So that's my thought. I would really like to Star Wars versus Warhammer if that's okay. We'll see. We'll see. If I have enough Mountain Dew or Gamer Subs, discount code Aurelia, we may do that. It is not lost on me. It's not lost on me. But if I warm up and get to like chatting and just like chilling for a little bit, we might be okay. And I do like to chat for a little bit before we get started, so. We are chat and love to chat, so let chat do the chat. Oh, you know what I just thought of? I was thinking of, with that whole sentence, I was like, chat the chatterlay, and I was like, the skitter shuffle. It's like, do the Cupid shuffle, but with the skitter. To the right, to the right, to the right, to the right, to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left. Now kick, now kick. Gotta get a skitter doing that. The skitter shuffle. Do it. I am doing it. I have a Mountain Dew and I'm almost done. I'm almost done with it. Boss, we are here for your exquisite company. Oh yes, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I will need more caffeine, but not 150 milligrams worth. Okay, one sec. Or should we have Gamer Subs? Do we really jack up my sleep schedule and have 150 milligrams of Gamer Subs? That is the question. That is the question. Because if we're gonna have Gamer Subs, I'm gonna have sweet six-pack. Coffee's so much better. Coffee is not an option. I don't like coffee. What would Dorn do? Oh, hey, Johnny Bravo. I remember seeing you in Cha-Cha's stream. Good to have you drop by. Hello. Did you not get the caffeine-free subs? I did, but, like, I think I need to wake up a little bit. Go for the Gamer Subs. I also have, sugar-free caffeine as well that I can access. They said no. Everyone's like, no. Don't jack up your sleep schedule. We've got the rat and the skitter. Rat. Maybe like 3/4 scoop? Yeah, we could do that. Okay, I've got... Have you tried fraps? Do not mix the Dew of Mountains with the subs of Gamers. Do not repeat my... Did you put the Gamer Subs in the Mountain Dew? What? Why would you do that? I already know that's a bad idea. Burb of Judge, thank you for the warning via Super Chat. But why would you do that to yourself? It's different if you, like, drink the Mountain Dew and then you have Gamer Subs. But did you put them together? It's like putting... Actually, it would be worse if you put Gamer Subs in a Red Bull. Whew. To tweak or not to tweak, that is the question. Well, I mean, yes. You know you have a stream tomorrow morning too, right? Oh yeah, if I have too much caffeine, I'll be tired then. Okay. I guess you're getting tired, Relia. How would we feel? Okay, here's an idea. How would we feel if we watched Star Wars versus Warhammer 40k tomorrow morning? We just slide things over a notch. So, what do we think about that? I haven't slept for 4 days after consuming that potion. Send help. Yeah, there's that. I think there's like, oh, what is it? It's like a really high caffeine coffee. That'd be nuts. How about both? I was planning to paint tomorrow, but I have glitter all over my desk. How early in the morning? Let's see. We were gonna start at 8 a.m. Pacific time. That's what we were gonna do. That's for tomorrow. That's the plan. And then Sunday is Dawn of War at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Yes, Death Wish. That's right. That's what the coffee's called. That, like, is insane amount of caffeine. What time in Central Time? I don't know. Is it like 2 hours ahead? I don't know. I only convert, like, I only talk in my time zone, okay? I only talk in my time zone. I don't convert. Did I already react to Astartes 2 trailer? I mean, yeah, I did. I think it was a few weeks ago. Yeah, it was a few weeks ago. I've had about 380 milligrams of caffeine today, and so you'll be fine. Let's see, how much have I had? I had 2 Baja Blasts. How much is in here? 59. So I had 120 between 2 Baja Blasts. I had more earlier. I've probably had like 200 to 225. 200 to 225. That's probably on the high side too. So I haven't had like an insane amount. Baja Blast, let's go. Yeah, Baja Blast is the best. It's really good. I also like Code Red. I might not be able to attend if we watch it tomorrow. I've got a birthday party. Well, birthday parties are fun. Unless they're for, like, a small child and you are not the child. Sometimes they're like, oh, they're kind of boring. I don't know. Okay, I'm torn because half of me wants to paint a Karkarodon kill team, but I also want to paint Blood Ravens. Ooh, paint Blood Ravens, because we're doing Dawn of War tomorrow. Glowing Oranges, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in today. Max a healthy human can have before it's dangerous is around 400 milligrams. My highest amount of caffeine was around like 860. Corvus, are you okay? Did you have to go to the doctor? That sounds like a lot. That... Ooh. Ooh. Oh my gosh, I hope your heart is okay. I don't think I've ever gotten close to that. I think... Well, maybe... Okay. I think one day I got into the mid 300s, and that was like when I was grinding and prepping. I think it was for something VTubing related, where I was just consuming a lot of caffeine. Since you're playing Dawn of War, I got invested in wanting the Blood Ravens. Get Blood Ravens. Do the Blood Ravens then. Your birthday party's for your cousin, probably gonna be about 4 people. Oh. Well, are you guys like doing any fun activities? Because I've been to small birthday parties, but it was like, oh, we all went mini golfing or did something like fun and interesting. Goodness. I try to keep an eye on my caffeine. I don't like to have, if I have gamer subs in the morning, I water it down a lot because I don't want to, get used to having 150 milligrams of caffeine in the morning, so. It's only once and I don't drink more than 300, but around 1200 is when people can have Oh, a lot of health issues if you have over 1,200 milligrams of caffeine. Yeah, yeah. Be safe. Be smart. Good idea. Good thing that you you only did it that one time. You shouldn't do that. Don't want to go crazy. And 3 scoops of pre-workout. Yeah. Oh, you know what I haven't had yet today? So I have been part of like my workout routine. I have been adding creatine to my gamer subs. I was front loading this past like 4 days. They recommend if you want the gains faster, you front load for like 4 days. So you have like 4 times the amount. So today is the first day that I'm supposed to have like a regular amount. And I haven't had it yet because I was going to have it after my workout. But with the babysitting, I didn't work out before stream. And I wonder if that's part of what's making me tired. It does give you a little bit of an energy boost. That could be part of my problem. I could go get some creatine right now and we could be okay. Based, yes. Oh, I do have a story actually. So, if you haven't joined the Discord, you should. We have a workout channel. We don't talk too much in it, but in that workout channel, I have talked about a exercise that my dad has recommended me. And I was talking to him the other day, and I was telling him how I do his workout. Because what he does, or what he's told me, is that there's 3 sets, and he'll do the sets. Basically, the whole workout is over the course of like 90 minutes, but he's not working out for the entire 90. He'll do 1 set, then take a break for like 20 minutes or so, do another set, take a break, 20, 30 minutes, and then do the last set. So I was talking to him and I was like, oh, I don't do it like that. What I do is that I just do it all in like about 30 minutes and it's brutal. Like, I feel like I get some cardio in there. And he's like, actually, you're getting a lot of cardio in when you do that leg workout. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So I'm happy. I'm getting more gains than I thought I was. Custody / horse grade protein. That reminds me of the horse electrolytes that one dude was drinking. I was impressed. And I think he got back and he did like a medical exam, and he's actually very healthy as a result of having like horse electrolytes. Something like that. It was nuts. I'm like, well, this is a very good advertisement. Wow, and here I am being able to live without caffeine. Good for you, man. I'm happy for you. If you can survive without caffeine, that's great. I just have a lot going on. All the time. All the time. Have I heard about the gorilla primate snack diet? I did hear about that. I just don't know much about it. But I just don't know that much. Makes sense. The electrolytes I give the chickens is similar to human stuff, except it smells awful. Yeah, there's some stuff that just it smells and tastes terrible, but it has like tremendous health benefits. Oh yeah, no, I know that he was eating that the gorilla snack cubes, and it's like insanely high in protein, I think. I don't know if they have the nutrition facts on the side, but it was like insanely high in protein. And I'm like, dude, that is good for you, but man, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know I could do that. Hey, I hope he's jacked. I hope he's jacked. I hope it worked out for him, and I hope he's like, I hope he's doing well at least. The fiber amount in those gorilla snacks could, oh wow, like it really take you out there. It's too much for humans to digest. Well, I don't know. That guy might still be alive. We don't know. Who would have thought that the stuff that tastes bad is good for you and vice versa? Well, that's not always the case. Because there are some things like, there are some things like, you know, steaks. So that stuff's good for you. Getting protein in your body, that's really good for you. Obviously, you know, different junk food's not great for you. Some of it is okay, but most of it is, like, not very good. That's fine. Who would have thunk the stuff that tastes bad is good for you and vice versa? I know, right? Gosh. Did someone say steak? Yes, I said steak. It's very yummy, very delicious. Hi, fan. I was just chatting with my chat for a little bit. I'm a little sleepy today, so I don't want to go into your content people thinking I'm incredibly tired and not interested in what you have to write, because I heard this next episode, I think episode 24, is really, really good. And I want to give it my full attention. I'm a tired girl today. I'm very tired. Probably because I didn't have my creatine. 5-minute power nap. We could try that. Usually my power nap, I think the best power naps are like 20 minutes. I think that's what it actually is. Because you don't get like into the deep sleep. I think that's what I've heard. What? What did you say? Oh, Dino, thank you for the bits. I guarantee at the end of the episode you're not gonna be tired anymore. Why did it censor that? That's weird. I don't know. Why did it censor that word? That's an odd word to censor. Tell the guy that the cutie pies are sorry for making you tired. Well, he won't know who the cutie pies are. Alright. Let's see. Could we make a 5-minute power nap work? I'm kind of like, I'll try it. I think I'll give it a shot. 5-minute power nap. I'm actually getting off from voicing a part of the latest episode right now. Ooh, exciting. I gotta catch up. Deep sleep is between 45 minutes to an hour. But if you want a light sleep, I thought like the best was to sit about 20 minutes. That's what I thought. Lo-fi chance to study and nap too. Just watch a Xenomorph Jumpstart compilation that'll wake you up. Well, here's the thing. What will happen, it will wake me up, but what's really gonna happen is that my adrenaline is gonna spike. Okay? And when my adrenaline spikes, that's gonna make me alert, correct? But when the adrenaline stops pumping after the video is over, my body's gonna get tired again, and it's more likely it's going to be more tired because it has a little bit of, maybe a little too much stress that it didn't need and or want. So I think I will be even more tired after the fact than it to like properly wake me up. Sleep science doesn't work the same for psychers. Don't I know it? Don't I know it? Gone, thank you for another super chat. I went to look at the Blood Angels books and noticed that Dante has a uniquely different armor than his brothers. Care to explain? There's a lot of stuff involved. Let's just say to make it very simple, he is the chapter master. He leads a lot of the Blood Angels, so his armor is going to be different. But he also wears the death mask of Sanguinius, which is basically a helmet that has Sanguinius's face on it, like the expression that was on Sanguinius's face when he died. So he basically is kind of like pseudo stand-in for Sanguinius in a way. So. Yeah. It's Sanguinius' actual death mask. I mean, yeah. Like, it's not his actual face. It's not his actual face, it's the expression. So. Okay. I am feeling more awake now. I think we could do it. Let me see. How long is this next episode? Let me pull it up. It is 1 hour and 4 minutes. Okay. Okay. This is doable. This is possible. All right. All right, do a little stretch. Push us every 15 minutes. What are you, my trainer? What are you, my trainer? Ugh. Okay. Headphones on. I'll do it. We'll at least do 1 episode for you, chat. If I fall asleep at the keyboard, it's not because I am bored, it's because I am tired. Okay. I strive to make my chat happy, and I'm just a little eepy. Just a little eepy today. My Pokemon trainer. Okay, let me switch over. Okay. Let me set this bad boy up. Do do do. Okay. Got it. Ugh. Okay. Alrighty. Do a little stretch here. I put my hands in front of my phone because I'm good at that. Oh. Okay. We are on episode 24. Alright. No spoilers, like I have in the pinned messages. Yeah. We're gonna fiddle with the audio until we get it right. Because sometimes it can be loud. Episode 24 was Herald. This is what it says. Episode 24, Beyond Axum. So, I mean, I went through my list of ones that I watched, and that's what I saw. Need to stretch before you skitter? I do. I'm gonna do a little... Got my stretches in. Alright. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let me know if it's too loud. I will adjust it as I think I see it, but, you know, if it needs more, less, let me know. Ooh. Once he talks, then we can adjust it.
Heresy. It looked like heresy.
Nice, okay.
That reason alone was enough to...
Did it sound good? I think that was like about the right volume. Sometimes I've gone back and I realize I'm like, oh gosh, he's louder than me. Oops. I think that sounded good. Sound good to everyone? If it did, we'll continue. Oh yes. Before we go, please follow A Fan with Too Much Time. Follow his channel, please. Mods, if any of you guys could pull up a link and then post it in Skitter. Oh gosh. On Twitch or YouTube. Could you please do that? Please go follow him. He's awesome. This is great content. He couldn't do this without a ton of support, so please keep supporting. Skitter on the brain. Yes. Tiny bit louder. You got it. Turning it up a little bit so it should be good. Okay.
To build the bile in the back of Orion's throat. The Skywatch were proud, pure sons of Gulliman.
Pure.
But they were not perfect.
Pure.
Their gene father, honored before all but the Emperor himself, had not been perfect. Either by flaw of planning or translation, the Codex Astartes had failed Orion, and his chapter had left them in ruin. So they had adapted, changed, and at times deviated from what his brothers in other chapters would call the right path. In all of these changes, he was more than complicit, even if he did not originally enact them. But he would stand by them, all of them, each and every deviation, even before the judgment of his own Primarch. But of all of the deviations they had embraced, this one, surely, was the one he feared the most. The chapter master of the Skywatch resented the very aesthetic of the Librarius, if it could even be called that any longer. The old Marine was always made profoundly uncomfortable each time he was forced to come here. And already, despite not being within the walls of the Librarius proper, he could feel the twitches and emotion-laden sensations which signaled the beginning of his undesired anxiety. Lodged deep within the center of the Herald of Justice was the Circle of Vigilance.
Oh, that's hardcore, though.
Which had come to
that's
replace
hardcore.
The standard function of their chapter's former reservoir of psychic learning. Orion was old, but not nearly old enough to play witness to those strange founding times, when the first chapter masters of his venerable order made the controversial decisions that led to this. The circle was not actually a single ring, but 10 interlocking rings, rooms, and passages designed for the exact purpose of this place. Within the outer 9 rings, no sign of anything one could call a librarius could be seen. Instead, layered and warded fortifications were presented. The witch-warded warriors, the Space Marine Neo-Watchers of his chapter, stood guard here, holding their vigil over their considerable defenses. They wore a wholly different panoply, donning burnished red armors and thick silver robes, denoting them as what they were.
That's cool.
Though
I like
most
that.
nodded their heads in his direction, and some even saluted his presence as he passed them, the chapter master of the Skywatch remained keenly aware of the fact that these were not his Marines. Not anymore. They belonged to Watchmaster Zarak, even if, ostensibly, the Watchmaster himself belonged to Orion. Despite this, the lack of direct authority over these warriors was not what he disliked most about the fortified outer rings of the structure. No, even if the Neo-Watchers acted as their own demi-chapter more often than he would like, even if their creation and maintenance put his entire chapter at risk of scrutiny and inquisitorial sanction, they were,
he's
if
dealing with
anything,
the dudes.
the least troubling aspect of this entire arrangement. These men were loyal, powerful, and every one had worn the blue skin and gold eyes of the Skywatch before becoming a Neo-Watcher. What truly made Orion's ancient hackles rise as he made his way
his
deeper
hackles.
and
That's
deeper into
you
the
don't hear
circle
that
of
word very
vigilance
often.
was their weapons.
And not applied to humans.
Thrice blessed and sanctified by the ecclesiarchal hierophant of Mentessa Prime, bearing null blades, blank rounds, and even the vitally precious and always rare psych-out grenades. What bothered Orion was not the nature of the rare arsenal, it was its orientation. With every choke point, hard point, pillbox, killing zone, and gun emplacement facing inward towards the final innermost ring where resided the true psychic resource of the chapter, the warlock vigilance of the Skywatch. These details served as constant, if subtle, reminders of the unnatural nature of this arrangement, and how dangerous this particular deviancy from the Codex truly was. And yet he tolerated it, for while it was a terrible burden and risk on his chapter, it was also an undeniable strength, and one which had saved the Skywatch from certain failure on countless occasions. Throughout their many millennia of constant struggle and warfare, the different masters of the chapter had chosen to utilize the warlocks in a variety of ways. From more traditional combat roles, as anti-demonic
Careful, you don't want to have too many psychers around.
And more. Orion, however, preferred to use them for a different purpose. Intelligence. With their eyes buried in the warp, they could find sight beyond sight, and had on many occasions gifted Orion with insights which lent him strategic guidance. Large red and silver garbed devastators lumbered alongside him. Blessed heavy flamers presented forward and lit, as if they expected a sudden swarm of gene stealers to storm them the instant they opened. The chapter master felt a cold sweat sheen his forehead as he felt his grip over the large blade he held tighten with a soft sigh of servo muscles. Orion
Servo
had a
muscles.
frighteningly small amount of understanding as to why this place affected him so, and had 1,000,001 rationalizations for the nervous reaction he constantly displayed when approaching the chapter.
Full disclosure, if I just laugh at random stuff, I chalk it up to me just being tired. Okay? Okay?
Psychers. Yet not one satisfied him. The answer he had decided to settle upon, at least for now, was simply that this place was as wrong as it was undeniably necessary. The entryway before him was large, both wide and tall enough for 2 dreadnoughts to walk side by side.
Dreadnoughts mentioned, that's peak. We love
They were
dreadnoughts.
composed
Cute
of
little
ancient
guys.
silver and electrum stained with age and strife, and cloaked in an almost invisible sheath of pale, bristling mist. Orion filled his lungs with a subtle breath, not looking away from the doors or the high Gothic script engraved into them. He nodded without veering his eyes, and the doors creaked in response.
Dun,
The
dun,
servos
dun.
and mechanisms which held them shut began to relax before tensing again as they pulled in the opposite
I like this
direction,
art that they have
beginning
here.
the process of opening the towering
cool.
silver gates. Pale, hoary frost swiftly crawled out and across the doors from the seam in its center, coating the ancient credo depicted there with white, fur-like ice, before it was split in half by the opening of the passage beyond. He nearly spoke the words aloud, agreeing with the ancient sentiment even as he resented the double meaning he always found there. The old words upon the doors read,
Speak, friend, then enter.
The band played like their lives depended on it, as they did every time. And every time, Boba knew they were right to assume it.
Yeah.
The young Fett clone had been grooming and growing his skills since his defeat in the attempted rescue of a Jedi from Count Dooku. Luckily, that client had paid in advance, and it had not taken him long to bounce back. Even now, he was admiring his recently repaired armor and newly integrated weaponry.
This is gonna
It
be
would
interesting.
Years yet before he grew large enough to truly inherit his father's Beskar. But until then, Jabba's credits and the equipment they made available for him would serve as a fine buffer. The slug and his pale, tentacle-headed attendant had started to take a liking to Fett and his crew of
Oh,
hunters.
no.
Though this time, he found himself languishing alone. Sitting within a booth near the wall, he felt the empty spaces where Dengar, Bosk, and the others would linger, though their absence was not necessarily an unwelcome sensation. The others had been busy spending their credits on personal vacations, personal matters, or had, like himself,
I like a
decided
good
to take
vacation,
time
though.
off in the form of a few private jobs.
I mean, that's
He
kind
had
of
no
smart.
idea how theirs had fared, but the Fett was now sitting on a tidy pile of funds that no one had to know too much about, in addition to his new equipment. He wasn't much for Jabba's frequent parties, but he also recognized that just by attending them, he'd single himself out in the slug's mind. And
That's
that
true.
was just as much a part of the job as anything else.
Networking.
He was polishing
Okay.
his
All right. This is a very good point. You may have a very good idea, or you may be like a really good like expert at something, but in order for people to know your name, you've got to network. And that is so incredibly frustrating. But that's how people get to know you. You got to network. Otherwise, they'll just be like, "Who's that guy? I don't know. I don't know who he is. Whatever." You just got to do it. It sucks for us introverts where it's like, "Oh man, I don't want to network." You gotta do it.
left gauntlet, rubbing a fine cloth across the durasteel which protected his knuckles when he felt it. A sudden chill.
Oh.
He was quite attuned to it by now, the soft call of his instincts, and in the constant...
Okay, can I just note the perfect like timing? He felt a sudden chill. That music, which was, you could hear it in the background, it started to fade out and got really quiet then. I'm sorry, I just had to appreciate it because I noticed it. And I was like, oh dang, that was very good mixing. And suddenly you hear that little like, boo. Of like, that's like the sensation of the chill. Listen.
When he felt it. A sudden chill. He was quite attuned to it by now, the soft call of his instincts, and
There
in
it
the
is.
constant heat of Tatooine, it was even easier to notice than usual. He felt hairs lifting around his body, meeting the inside of his suit, his every silent cell beginning to scream a warning. Danger was approaching. He took his helmet off the table in front of him and slid it on. activating his seals and running a quick check on his weapons, both the holstered ones
good idea,
and
man.
integrated units. It was as he concluded this that he heard the first signs of it, a rumble, and then what sounded like muffled clapping. Though he was not the only one to hear the sudden and evidently approaching ruckus, the band refused to stop playing until Bib Fortuna began to frantically wave a clawed hand in their direction. The music died, and the many associates, enforcers, dancers,
And so
hunters,
did the people in the
slaves,
room.
smugglers, and assorted scum who filled the main room hushed their conversations, laughter, and debates, listening as one. What had at first sounded like claps and thumps were now recognizable as the throaty blasts of some kind of weapon.
What?
Gamorrean guards shuffled.
I'm sorry, how do you mistake that? How do you mistake claps to like dunk dunk dunk?
From the room, pushing out the door in a mob of eager, grunting muscle and fat. Soon their squeals and screams joined the distant noise, but not for long.
Robo-Jer!
Bellowed the hut in the center of the room. Probo Jabba Ubufugi! Bib snapped out right afterward. Most of the armed men inside rose to the call, and Boba would have followed as well were it not for the fact that he hadn't heard any promise or credits along with that command. Fett knew huts well enough to know better than to expect unpromised recompense from them. So as the other bounty hunters formed a wall of blasters and blades between the entryway and their slimy master, Boba instead lowered himself under the table of his booth and took a knee, waiting. He didn't need to wait.
It's not gonna be good for him.
The shadows of massive figures loomed in the late sun's light, painting the pale bend into the room black for a few meager moments. Large, round shoulder pads struck the side of a set of Junker's chimes. Jabba's men cried out as one and opened fire, and fire answered them in turn. A plume of billowing, roaring hell met the uneven wall of bodies. Blaster fire was sent into the flames, but the towering figure behind them did not so much as flinch or falter as he was struck. The weapon cut out, but the flames clung to the men they touched, roars of battle morphing into screams of hellish pain as the invading warriors entered, 5 in total. Dressed in mechanized suits of green armor, which was heavily caked in alien livery and symbols, they entered without hesitation, silencing the roasting men with downward stomps of their roboticized feet. While one of them was clearly armed with some kind of massive flamethrower, the other 3 had smaller, slug-throwing weapons in its place. Weapons that...
So you could say they made some bacon earlier? You know, because those guards are kind of like pig-esque. Like that's like part of their how they're designed.
They aimed out at the others in the room, Boba included. Cursing, but knowing a lost cause when he saw one, Boba lowered the 2 blasters.
It is a lost cause.
Placing them down on the ground and raising his arms. The others in the room slowly followed suit, speeding up when 2 of the warriors discharged their weapons, turning a couple of would-be heroes into smears against the wall. Bib Fortuna kneeled on the ground beside Jabba, hands raised in trembling supplication, while his master, clearly flushed with fear,
they're totally going to take care of Jabba. Thank goodness.
Maintained a more dignified posture.
Ko arga ubata kono ingo mabinki dunko ikapis. Amata grancha jabatahat. Ma frinki arga nono arta anrawik. Onve revini chos chowangvi.
Jabba demanded, though whoever these men were, they seemed unimpressed to the point of ignoring him. An uncommon sight. Having subdued the room, the 4 maintained their guarding positions, weapons leveled, saying nothing, and waiting. Soon enough, the sound of many booted footsteps could be heard echoing down towards them, drawing closer and closer. Men and women in bright green and white uniforms stormed inside, moving around the larger warriors that had come before them, half setting up to support them, while the other half created a small cordon and saluted. Boba heard one final set of footfalls approaching, and watched on as an old man entered the main room and strode between the assembled and saluting officers, waving them to ease as he did.
Jabba's gonna be a
leaned on
hard target
cane.
to miss.
No,
Yes.
a toothed sword of some kind,
Ooh.
which he seemed to be using to support himself, though the Fett was uncertain if this was a sign of true impairment or an affect, for the man was huge. Not as large as the armored warriors that had breached the palace, but he was certainly the largest old man Boba had ever seen. He wore a tall red hat, and his matching coat was so heavy with medals, seals, and ornaments that they may have served as effective battle armor. And it was not just the symbols that impressed upon the clone that this man was of a respected station. The way his men watched him as he passed, the pride which emanated from them at his mere glance, these subtle signs spoke twice as loudly as the motley of medals the old man wore on his chest. His face was a history of lines and scars, and yet he wore an easy smile, even as he carefully picked his way over and around the smeared and charred corpses which lay in his path. The man came to stand before Jabba and gave the barest incline of his head. One of the larger warriors, the one who carried the flamethrower, left his position and came to stand beside the man, who then began to speak. His language was alien, but was promptly translated by the hulking soldier beside him. Boba Fett listened closely then, as the red old man introduced himself.
Forbida tu suva introdudu majesty. Ujiji ava urginkiniba of fumta uba maya asva. Gigi ara replicati of ta Imperium du mankind.
Okay, I know a little bit.
Nuba ariga.
I thought he like Aura'd for a second there. I was like, not Jabba the Hutt. I know it's not Jabba the Hutt, but I was like, Aura, whoa, we can't have that here.
Ta vis planitu. Jivudu aprisha if uba gold anva duku questi che uvu.
Translated the warrior. Jabba did not respond right away, sizing the man up, and then the men around them, before finally giving his answer.
If da waga ala du uba nibad. Uba shuva ava judas bakaji. Ta grancha
I don't need to know what he says, it's okay.
Antuja du skilvan kunfidu. Jitinka dalava kulva bi. Muka jiji kulva choba e opa ofo. Asva du questi.
It's so cool that you were committed, that you got the language. I don't know where you find that. I don't know where you find the language of, like, whatever alien race Jabba the Hutt is. Anyone who's coming in, I'm sorry. This is Star Wars versus Warhammer 40k, and Huttese is another language. So I don't know how to... I imagine some actual legitimate work was done. Huttese, good to know. Good to know. I'm not so familiar with all the... Jabba is a Hutt, but I didn't know if Hutt was a family or a type of, like, alien race. Because the Hutts, they're like a crime syndicate, right? Jabba the Hutt, but Hutt could be like, I always assumed it was like a last name. It's both. Oh. Now I know. Now I know. It's very impressive, I agree. I agree 100%. Okay, then good to know. I've learned a thing. It's like Bob the Human. Oh. Okay. D, all of the above. Okay.
Gil anvag uba anten Gigi kaga deswi mogo. Mukakavo matari. Dovangi visplika uba mafa.
Boba was both impressed and amused. Clearly Jabba had no choice, even if he insisted on acting as though he did. The invader in red did not seem perturbed by this, though. More than happy to continue in that tone, so long as it got him what he wanted. Boba leaned in slightly, attentive, making certain to memorize his name now that Jabba had asked for it.
Manara sa Caiaphas cake.
No wonder you guys were spamming the hat. No wonder you were spamming the hat. Hang on. 1 second. I will turn that redeem on. There. Play your redeem. Play your redeem. Someone do it on Twitch. Someone pick. Someone do the redeem. I can't believe it. What the heck? They brought in Caiaphas Cain. I don't see it. Wait, okay. Try again. Sorry. I'm sorry.
No.
No. Why isn't it playing the noise? Why isn't it playing the noise? What? 1 second. I'll play it myself. 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. Why isn't it playing? Pardon. I said Caiaphas Cain. Source status. Yes. Why didn't it play the sound? I don't know why. But you heard it? Oh, you heard it. That's interesting. I didn't light up on my screen that it played. Because normally I see the audio turn on and it... Okay, good. Yay! Caiaphas Cain is here. What the heck? I had no idea. I was like, who's this dude? He's like really tall. You guys were redeeming the hat. I'm like, okay, I don't care. They're just redeeming a hat. And I thought maybe he's a commissar. Whatever. Wasn't thinking about it too hard. And then suddenly he's like, Caiaphas Cain. And I'm like, huh? 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 Everybody was on that flotilla. Yes, everyone and their mother. Can Sanguinius be on that flotilla? Mood kindred. Mood kindred indeed. Mood kindred indeed. Oh my gosh, Caiaphas Cain. That was not on my bingo card. Okay, back to it.
Anji Amnawa as do hero of ta Imperium,
said the translator.
Oh. It played it here too. That's so funny. We're gonna listen to that again.
Manara sa Caiaphas Cain. Anji Amnawa as do hero of ta Imperium,
said the translator.
Hero of the Imperium. Hi, Caiaphas Cain. Hero of the Imperium. Well done, fan. Based.
The Lord Admiral rolled onto her side, red satin sheets sliding
I'm already concerned.
over artificial and natural skin. She shifted again, and then once more before sighing. She sat up, yawning and stretching her left arm, which was still mostly flesh and steel, unlike her right limb, which was quite thoroughly mechanical. None but the profoundly knowledgeable or uncommonly vigilant would ever notice, however, as she had taken great pains to ensure as seamless a set of augmentations as she could. But no matter the artistry of the prosthesis, or the bribes she offered the adepts of the machine cult, only so much could be done, and metal was not flesh, no matter what they believed. She was grateful to the tech priests and the Omnissiah for their work, yet the more mechanical she became, the less she found herself able to sleep through the resting cycle. What had once been a nightly routine had become a bi-daily event at best.
Oh, that's rough. I like sleeping.
It was technically true that she did not need to sleep any longer, not since her latest surgeries. She had been informed that it would still be possible. And in spite of how vulnerable she was while doing anything resembling sleep, Rolla Sindura still found herself desiring it deeply. The Admiral pushed her feet over the side of the bed and shivered as she felt the cold of the floor through her lower limbs, which mirrored her arms in that they too were divided between the half-mechanical and the wholly artificial.
Dang.
She took a
Girl's
moment
got
to
some
distract
work
herself,
done.
trying to notice the precise differences in the sensation based on what each foot felt. It was more painful, she realized.
Oof.
The mechanicus had learned how to wire nerves into human spines as easily as a seamstress might stitch closed a seam or cut. They had become so proficient, in fact, that they had managed to create artificial nerve endings which felt everything but pain. And it was only after one possessed such nerves that one realized a startling truth. Everything hurts. Petting a canid, drinking recaft, taking a soft shit.
What the actual...
All of it hurt. Though regular humans simply couldn't tell, since pain that subtle could only register if a person had the opportunity to compare life without it. And without the perfect nerve tuning of the tech priests, it would have been impossible to even experience that difference. Rolla imagined that this was one of the revelations of augmentation lauded by the priesthood, since it reminded her who and what she was, and what it was to be human. Those thoughts quickly led her back to her former sour musings on sleep, or her lack thereof. True human rest, like she had once enjoyed. Yes,
I like naps
even though
too
most
much.
of her dreams were nightmares nowadays, and had been long before her upgrades. Yes, despite the fact that most of the sleep she did manage to secure for herself ended in a cold sweat or worse.
Oh, that's sad.
But the terror
Have
of the
you
night
considered melatonin? Have you tried melatonin? Or something that just, like, puts you down deep? Because sometimes if I got those, like, dreams, they bother me enough. If I take melatonin, it, like, wipes the slate clean. No dreams. And that's kind of nice.
was a small price to pay for that dark, mindless rest that always came with some portion of her sleep. And besides...
Okay, I just had a really funny idea. I saw someone say something about Caiaphas Cain, and I realized Amberly is not around. At least as far as we know, she's not around. So here's the thing. If Amberly is not with this, like, elite force, and that she's, back in the regular 40k universe, I wonder if she, because she is Order Xenos, right? Yeah, she's Order Xenos. I wonder if she's gonna try to investigate how they got over to the Star Wars universe. She's like, this is so weird. Why did this happen? That's my guy over there. Hang on, we gotta find him. And we know she will do her best to find him. Is Amberly a psyker? No, she's not. Mm-mm. She has a psyker in her retinue, but she is not a psyker herself. No. But they'll hear that this fleet has gone missing. It's not a small fleet. They'll know. They'll know it's gone missing. So, I'm gonna figure it out. Can you investigate faulty warp jumps? You probably could. It's probably usually not successful, but for a huge fleet like that, they're bound to investigate it. Also, with Caiaphas Cain involved, Star Wars world, absolutely toast. I'm sorry, you guys are toast. Unless, there's no way you, like, take Cain out of the game. Alright, checking my posture. It's actually been pretty solid today. My posture's been good.
Besides, she was a human. And no matter the belief of the Martians, there was nothing more ubiquitous about the human experience than suffering.
Wow, you're real
Nothing.
fun at parties.
She stood and strode
She's
over
so
to her
fun at
wardrobe,
parties,
rejuvenated
guys.
skin and synth flesh sheathed in a modest black nightgown. With a flick of her thoughts, the wardrobe opened and deployed, unfurling before her in jerky.
For a second, I was like, she's a psyker. And then I was like, wait, no, if she's a decent chunk mechanical, she can just... She's probably tuned into, like, her bedroom stuff.
Mechanical fashion, its many robotic display hooks and arms holding out her various uniforms and dresses like a cadre of faceless servants.
Ooh, dresses?
She perused her options, selecting a black uniform with golden trim and a particularly audacious shoulder ornamentation over her right side.
I like it, I like it.
She did not trust her servants to prepare her clothing beyond laundering them, nor to witness her in any vulnerability that one could call nakedness. She was the Lord Admiral.
I was also under the impression that, like, yeah, you could, like, I could see people armoring you, like, if you got big, heavy armor, but I was under the impression that Warhammer was never like, here, ma'am, let me dress you, unless you were, like, administrata nobility type. If you're in the military, yeah, dress yourself.
She sat atop a harrowing pyramid of death, intrigue, and eternal ambition. Of the first two, she was full to bursting. But concerning the final trait, hers had full to intrigue and eternal ambition. Of the first two, she was full to bursting. But concerning the final trait, hers had nearly run dry. How many assassination attempts, from forces within or without, has she survived over the years for no greater reason than this? Centuries of work and combat, and what could she even accomplish here, aside from maintaining the status quo? Now, however, things were starting to change.
Good for her, she's girl bossing.
She looked up at herself as she finished donning her uniform and hardened her gaze. Drawing in a deep breath, Rolla closed her eyes, and with the hand of her mind collected all the loose strands of drive which remained within the beautiful bionic husk of her form. She gathered them and compressed them, drawing from them a strength that she had used to slay whole civilizations. When her eyes opened once more, they blazed with her old raging fervor. Even a spark could light a flamer, and she found herself prepared.
What the heck? Hang on. My background, why is it... Wait. Let me check something. My background is like... You can see me in the background? Was it like this the whole time and I didn't notice? Hang on. Oh, there's chroma key on it. That's why. I was like, huh? Why is my face poking through the clouds on the video? I just made my debut on Star Wars versus Warhammer 40k, no big deal. I didn't notice that until I looked over at my OBS and I was like, why is my face there? Excuse me. I'm in the episode. That's funny. That's funny. I gotta snuck my way in there. Fan didn't even know either. He didn't know. It just happened. Okay, sorry about that. I just had to make a little cameo there. Fixed it.
Prepared, and not a moment too soon. A beep at her door indicated someone seeking to enter her chamber.
Who is it?
She asked into the air. A small vox near the mirror she gazed into spoke the answer in the voice of her guard captain.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest Lord Admiral of them all? I'm sorry. The fact that she has a little caster in the mirror means she spends way too much time looking at herself in the mirror. I don't know. That's just a me thing. That's what I think.
Captain, message for you, ma'am, said Alvat from outside. It's from the Skywatch. I think they are moving to an objective. He added a moment later. She nodded, though he could not see it. She had been expecting this. After all, Space Marines were what they were, and what they were was not idle.
Very well. I'll receive it on the bridge. Let us see where the old Marine thinks we should unsheath the Emperor's sword.
Looking good is part of the job, yes, but like there's a balance between like looking good and like doing your job right. You should not spend too much time. Like impressions matter and how you present yourself as a leader matters, but I think she's spending a little bit too much time.
Clone Trooper, otherwise known as Bucket, spun in his chair, his helmeted head lolling lazily from side to side. Dr. Sheena tried not to pay any attention to his fidgeting, knowing it was his own way of coping with the silent stress which filled the air. Instead, she redirected her focus to the lab results being projected before her hover chair. The images, reports, and various results of tests played out before the Syrian scientist in a slow stream of movement. Her ample brow creased, and she rubbed her aching eyes. She was unsure.
I'm sorry, ample brow. Does that mean she's got like a 5 head or something? Anyways, they'll continue.
Sure, she had been getting adequate sleep, but knew her eyes would be tired
Ample.
either way.
It's a
After
big
all,
brow.
She had been doing a lot of work. All of it, in fact. Sheena hated doing this all on her own, but she
Sorry,
had no
I just had to
choice
say
in
it.
the matter. After what she had discovered about the source of Captain Kraken's orders, she knew the Supreme Chancellor could not...
I know she's the one with the big head. She's the alien chick. Yeah, I know. Yeah, she is a cone head. I was like thinking about it. I was like, no, she's the cone head chick. Of course she has a big head. I pay attention to these little tiny descriptors because they make me laugh. So I'm like, an ample brow. Oh, that's a big one then. I know. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute. It's probably been over a month.
be trusted. In fact, precious few could. They were sitting, waiting inside the room of one such rare individual right at this very moment. Or at least, a person she thought fell into that category. The very notion of trusting anyone with any of this made her skin crawl, much less someone she did not even know. But she had no choice in the matter. None. After all, while she could run blood tests, follow up reports, compile data, perform analysis, and test her hypotheses all on her own, she could not make a difference without the aid of Padme Amidala.
Yeah.
The senator from Naboo was currently occupied in a session of the Senate, but was expected to return very soon.
We like
In
her.
that time, she and Bucket had been allowed to sit and wait for her within the lounging area of her senatorial suite, observed passively by two of Padme's household attendants.
I'm just imagining
It was
Clone Wars.
Sheena's hope that this woman would know the right people and have the right personal influence to make the right kind of difference. A person who might even be able to help her avert the disaster she knew would soon be coming. But hoping, well, that too made her skin crawl. And so Sheena
Her skin is
distracted
constantly
herself with
crawling,
analysis,
like
and
spiders.
There was, admittedly, a lot to distract her with.
By the stars. Bucket, look at this.
She said, gesturing for him to come closer while enlarging an image of her holographic file and extending it up. The clone groaned and slumped at the call, but began to get up lazily so he could come see, grumbling all the while. Come on, Doc. You know I never understand any of this stuff. I'm not a scientist or anything. Clone Trooper, remember? He said as he came to stand beside the chair.
You can
leaning
put your
against
mind
the
to anything,
thick,
dude.
high-backed portion of it.
Oh, stop grumbling. This is really, well, it's fascinating.
She said, gesturing towards the image. Displayed and spinning slowly was a strand of thick, enlarged DNA. Bucket stared at it for a couple of seconds and then shrugged his shoulders. Corellian Sugartail? He asked unhelpfully. Sheena smacked her hand against her face and sighed.
By the many moons, Bucket, even you should know what DNA is.
He's being
groaned.
facetious.
Yeah, I do, he said with a laugh. I'm just flicking your wires. Still, can't tell what's so special about it. Is this some kind of, important difference? That my DNA? Yours? He asked. Dr. Sheena scowled and shook her head.
No, you dolt. It's DNA collected from some of the Imperial soldiers during the invasion of Axum.
She said.
How was he supposed to know
and?
that?
He asked.
It's thick.
she said,
Thick.
gesturing to enlarge the image even more.
Thick!
Thick? He asked a moment later.
How many C's?
It's too thick. Look.
Dr. Sheena tapped away at a console on her armrest, and an image of another, thinner strand of DNA was projected next to the first.
Sounds like you guys are a bunch of weaklings. Sounds like you're a bunch of weaklings. The Imperium, man. That humanity, they have been tested. They have been tested. So understandable that their DNA is so thick. Don't skip DNA day, chat. Make sure you flex your DNA. Don't skip it. Make your DNA thick with 5 C's. I'm pretty confident thick did not exist when Fan made this video. The concept of something being thick. So I apologize. When did this 3 years ago. It's possible. It may have existed. Thick. Does your DNA not lift? Can you hear me now? I think you can hear me now. Apparently now, in addition to cycling power on my mic, I have to go into OBS. I have to change my mic setting, apply that, and then reapply the mic setting. I don't know why it does this. I just think it gets warm, but it shouldn't be like that warm. I have like, it's on my desk. Like, I have my keyboard brush sitting on top of it and a purity seal. I have a purity seal on it too, chat. I'm not kidding. I have a cute little purity seal sticking on top of it. And it doesn't work. And I don't know why. It just gets angry. It came on over the course of 30 seconds rather than instantly going full robot. Fun. I don't know what the problem is. I should just get that new cable. Okay. I'm gonna go... Okay, note to self. Grab a new cable. I think it's the cable. And I said this last time, but I forgot about it. Need to bless the mic? No, the mic is gorgeous. The mic is beautiful. Needs more purity seals, clearly. Gosh, okay. I know. I should put more on my throne page. Slap several on there. Change. Mixer cable. So it's not the mic, it's the mixer, sorry. I don't want to blame the microphone. The microphone is gorgeous, it's great. It's not a loose jack, no. It's really weird. It's like, it's firm in there. But it always needs like a power cycle for some reason. So I'm gonna switch the cable out. The mixer is just very rebellious. I don't know why. It does that. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. Incense burner in place? No, I don't have the incense burner. Maybe I should look into that. I'll look into it, don't worry. There you go, little mixer. It's been happening more frequently. It has to be the cable. It used to happen only like every month or so, but I feel like this happened last week. Make sure you get a gold one. Yeah, we'll see about that. Okay. We were saying human and Warhammer 40k, their DNA do be thick. Multiple C's. Don't skip DNA day. Do you even lift, bro? Gold audio cables are a real thing. Well, we'll see. I don't think I need a fancy audio cable. It's a USB-C to a USB. So it's my power supply and my connection to the computer. So I don't know if I need one when I can just get a standard good cable. This is the cable that came with it, so it's probably just bad. Probably just bad. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. Back to it.
Turned beside each other, very similar yet also distinct.
That is yours, or at least close to yours. The second
You
strand is
are
an example of the
weak,
clone template.
Bucket.
Dr. Sheena explained. Django. Bucket said softly. She nodded. So wait, why are they so different? Aren't they supposed to be human, just like Django Fett was? He asked.
Well, yes and no. They are definitely human, or at least human-derived. The match in the genome sequence is uncanny. They aren't just like humans, they encompass humans. And much more.
Oh, psychers and all the abhumans, chat. Look me in the face. Abhumans.
More? How? He asked.
I am not sure. I thought it was genetic augmentation at first.
No, we're just
But the
built
more I
tough.
look at it, the more it just seems like standard mutative gene progression. I'm not a geneticist, strictly speaking, so I've been doing a lot of referencing and comparison, but that only made this stranger. I mean, I saw similar structures in Kaminoans and Arcanians, but nothing quite like this.
Bucket stood back at that, seemingly aghast. Wait, these Imperials are part Kaminoan? He asked.
No, that's...
I was gonna say, I was like, no, dude, they are just similar in the way their gene structures are.
That's not what I meant, she said, raising a hand. I mean, both the Kaminoans and the Arcanians have very shaped, directed gene patterns. They achieved this largely through eugenics,
She said. Eugenics?
Fun.
He asked.
Yes, selective breeding.
I said it before, but that's obviously what it is. It's because they've been fighting so much, only the strong survive. That is the Imperium's eugenics. That's just what they do naturally. They don't necessarily pick and choose. It's just whoever lives, lives and has kids. Congratulations.
And the culling of defective and undesirable traits. The Imperials have similar gene structures, but, well, look at how thick their DNA is. I don't know how to account for that,
she said. Well, what
The thing
does
is, we don't know who she pulled it from. We don't know if she pulled it from the Cadians or if she pulled it from Kriegers. We actually don't know. They didn't say.
DNA even mean? He asked. What else has thick DNA?
Your
She
mom.
paused before answering him, stroking her chin as she pondered the question.
Again, I'm well read, but not a gene expert myself, so this is probably wildly off the mark. But if I had to give a face value explanation of what this should mean, it would mean that they are older than the rest of the human race.
Yeah.
she said at length. Older? The clone parroted.
Yes, older, much older. Between 80 and 60,000 years older, if I had to
Interesting.
guess. But that doesn't make any sense. Even accounting for light speed relativity, the difference is so drastic it almost implies time travel.
She was cut off as the doors into the senator's suite slid open with a rustle. Both Sheena and her clone bodyguard snapped rigid and turned to see who was entering.
Dadmanus chuckled at that. Great. I love that. Thank you, Lim. I'm happy to make Dadmanus laugh. So biochemist, just FYI, thick DNA is not a thing. Well, however, have you gone to the Star Wars or Warhammer universes and compared their DNA there? Huh? Maybe it's changed. Ooh. I believe you. Got him. Thank you, ALJ.
Both slackening at the same time as well when they saw Padme and her attendants begin to filter in.
Ah, Dr. Sheena.
Padme greeted, smiling warmly as she came to take the woman's hand in both of her own.
It's a pleasure to meet you, and your escort as well.
Bucket beamed inside his helmet, and Sheena offered a nervous smile of her own.
Thank you for seeing me, Senator. I know you must be very busy, but I assure you, what I need to say is of vital importance.
She said. Padme's smile withered slightly, and she nodded more seriously, cautiously taking a seat nearby, being careful with her pregnant belly. Sheena
Pregnant.
spied that the senator was quite far along, and was shocked to realize that, in her vast memory, she could not recall the father to the popular senator's soon-to-be-born child. Odd.
Yes, your hollow suggested that much. How can I help you? Are you in trouble?
Padme asked, eyes full of worry for the Syrian, despite her own vulnerable state. Sheena nodded and eyed the senator's attendants wearily. The women, of which there were 3, lingered near the back of the room silently, waiting to be needed. Padme seemed to notice Dr.
Yeah, the senator's far along. You never know when those babies be coming out.
Sheena's stare and followed it, a twinge of pained frustration flashing across her face before looking back at her guest.
You can trust me, and you can trust them, I swear it.
She said without hesitation.
Pregante.
Sheena paused
Yes.
for a time, but then nodded slowly and turned back to the senator.
Senator Amidala, I am in danger. And so are you. So are we all.
She said.
From what?
Padme asked. The Syrian doctor paused again.
This is how you get, like, snipered in a movie. You don't say words. You gotta cut to the chase. Are you gonna tell her or are you gonna not? This is how you get snipered. You're, like, about to say it, and then, pew! Gone.
A true sense of anxiety rushing through her, like the last look over the edge before leaping from a terminally high cliff.
You're fine, girl.
But before she managed to muster her...
Okay, good. I was like, bro, no way she's gonna not be able to get the words out. Thank
courage,
you. Thank
Bucket
you.
spoke for
Thank
her,
you, Bucket.
stepping forward as
Being
he
the
did.
only reasonable one here.
The Supreme Chancellor, ma'am. We have reason to suspect that he is behind the hyperspace ramming incident around Pazob. Padme's face seemed to go blank with shock.
Understandable.
Before a streak of subtle agony crossed her features again, and she shook off the surprise.
These are serious suspicions. What can you tell me about why you believe this?
Asked the senator.
She's so pretty.
It's all right here.
Sheena said, supplying the data she had managed to slice earlier that same day. Time was taken to show her what the data meant, how it proved some connection between the ship that had presumably begun the war and the office of the Supreme
Dun
Chancellor.
dun dun.
This isn't much.
Padme said at the end of it all.
Maybe not enough for a court, but it's enough for people like us.
Sheena insisted.
These records prove that there was some undisclosed message sent from the Supreme Chancellor's office to the Belligeor just before it suicide rammed the Imperial ship. This entire war could well be a result of that single action. And besides, Senator, I know that you are not blind. I've seen your speeches and seen your vote record. You know how dangerous the Chancellor is, and you know that he already has far too much power. He's
Don't
planning
say that.
something, and all of this, even this new war, are all a part of it.
The doctor almost
I thought we were being subtle here. I'm sure she has soundproof her room, but like yelling? Oh my gosh. I can't. It's like you want to get caught.
yelled.
That is enough, Dr. Sheena.
Padme suddenly
Yes,
cried out,
ma'am.
shocking the Syrian
You
into
tell her how
silence.
it is.
She panted and wiped at some sweat on her brow.
I'm sorry.
She said a moment later.
No, she was yelling at
Please
you.
forgive me. I'm not feeling well. But yes, I know. I am aware of the threat posed by the Chancellor and that there is much that he has not told us. I am aware.
She said, resting her head in one hand. Dr. Sheena narrowed her eyes somewhat.
Senator Amidala, are you...
I was gonna say, I was like, Padme is so out of it right now. I think she's gonna give birth very soon.
She asked. The senator looked up, a slight blush touching her cheeks before she swooned in a sudden flood of agony, groaning loudly as she did.
Yep.
Her attendants rushed forward, but she recovered and waved them back.
No, not yet.
Captions are gonna be the death of me. Oh, man. That means she hasn't told him yet. And that means she probably still has a little bit. Oh, you goofball. Honey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Padme is like too... She is too smart to not let something like that slip. To an outsider that she just met. There's no way she lets that slip. No.
I have to go to Axum first.
Ah!
I have to tell Anakin.
She groaned as she tried to lay back and breathe.
Anakin Skywalker? Senator, with all due respect, you should be doing no such thing.
She is so smart, but she has not put the pieces together. She's not put the pieces together. Oh my gosh. My gosh.
Besides, what news could you possibly have to give Anakin Skywalker? The man is locked within an unsanctioned battle with the Imperials at this very moment. Nothing you could tell him would be relevant to that.
Dr. Sheena said, waving the attendants forward in spite of Padme's former gestures.
You're wrong.
Padme's...
She gave you an out. Padme, she gave you an out. She saved your sorry butt. She saved your sorry butt, and you just said, oh no, actually I do have a reason. There's no way. Something is up here. I don't like whatever this is. I don't like this. This just, this just feels weird. I don't think Padme would do this. She's not slipping up like this.
Said before another rush of pain took her. The forestalled attendants came to either side of her, taking her hands as more sweat shone on her face.
I have to tell him...
The senator insisted,
no, there's something
even as
else.
a liquid stain began to appear on her dress, and her aides began to urgently call for medical aid.
Oh no, she's having the babies early.
But Dr. Sheena was not so distracted by their concerns and panic that she did not hear the next few words the laboring senator managed to speak.
He is the Supreme Commander of the Republic now.
Oh. Okay, that works. Okay. Acceptable. That's fine. Okay. I accept. But girl, That was a bad way to do it. But I understand. She was giving birth. She's getting ready to give birth. Acceptable. No, I remember the vote, but like, I'm sorry. The way that Q-Tip's like, I need to tell Anakin he's the father. And instead, it's just a, it's like, oh yeah, the Chancellor's the commander now. That's what I'm telling him. At least she did that.
Davik Thune had ensured that there were at least 2 strike cruisers cutting across the skies of Raxus Secundus.
Yeah, you got me, you got
the battle
me.
within the void had become a foregone affair. Amid an oncoming ocean of particulate death and strobing light-based lethality, the world below them had elected to activate a series of powerful, overlapping shield generators. Yet they had failed to act before the Chapter Master, having been entirely unprepared for the sudden assault. The Imperial fleet had begun bombardment of the world, only to find their blows energetically blunted by the infrastructure below them. Before any major corrective actions could be taken, a second Separatist fleet had arrived to relieve the assault of the planet. The Void battle had been rejoined, but while it was fought, and Davik threw his might against the aforementioned General Grievous, the strike cruisers had deployed their tactical teams across the world, barely managing to stay ahead of the fields of defensive fire that the planet threw up towards the trapped cruisers. It was, however, those very conditions that lent the deployed Space Marines their vital sense of urgency. Landing amid artistically crafted cities, plains of burning gold, and polar ice caps shrouded in haloed auroras, the only binding similarity between their locations was their objectives, their targets. The massive and vital planetary shield generators. The deployed tactical and assault squads were swift and lethal, calling down reinforcements when they earned significant footholds and swiftly building up force on several combat theaters. They sought, one and all, to break into the defensive installations which surrounded each of their tactical objectives. In minutes, each and every one of the shield generators were under assault, and tens of minutes later, they would begin to fall, one by one. Brother Arachnus stood guard around a smoldering corner within a massive room. Beside him was the huge, energetically pulsating generator, humming and filling the air with a static charge that caused a slight fuzzing in his helmet's auspex. But not enough of one to prevent him from noticing the approaching droids. He hefted his mighty bolter and looked down the sights. Though the room was very large, with an extremely high ceiling, most of that space was taken up by the shield-emitting machinery it was meant to house, forcing the remaining interior space into cramped walkways, gangways, and elevated grated balconies and their adjoining ramps. This, in turn, forced the droids to march in columns, their weaker, thinner units moving forward as faltering shields for their more advanced units behind. The tactic seemed sound, but it was all but ignored in the face of penetrating bolter fire. B-1 battle droids, B-2 battle droids, and even destroyers found themselves all but helpless in the face of the Astartes' chosen weapon. Admittedly, the shielded destroyer droids needed to be shot at before they unrolled and opened their shields. But doing so was a trivial game for the Space Marine, and one which he had mastered in little time. This time, however, the tactic was different. The destroyers advanced from the front, already deployed and crawling along at their snail's pace, while behind them, the skinny, skeletal-like B-1s marched in rank. And behind them, the similar but endlessly more problematic black skeletons of the commando droids, each one bearing a thick, humming vibro sword, marched as well.
That's a blasted puzzle.
The Space Marine said to himself,
Can't shoot through them. Toss a grenade and the black ones will toss it back. If I close for melee, the white ones will scrap themselves, buying chances for the black ones to skew. Whoa!
He exclaimed as the B-1s suddenly drew grenades from around their waists and reeled back their arms, pitching them over the shields. Arachnus opened fire, catching most of the spheres in the air over the destroyers, though the blasts failed to reach them through their shields. He caught one of the grenades that had been tossed over, pitching it back and kicking the other two that landed nearby to the same effect, bouncing the deadly explosives off the walls and grates to veer back towards the droids. But they all detonated too soon to catch them. The destroyers opened fire while he was distracted, and the Marine was shoved back behind his corner by the sudden heated impact of one of their larger particle bolts. He checked his smoldering armor, finding 2 impact sites on the left side of his chest, both bleached of their paint and puckered but intact. He grinned, actually feeling a bit of earned adrenaline flood his system as he peeked back at their advancing lines. The white skeletons were drawing out more grenades even as he watched. This time, he took the initiative, charging out before they had time to reel back their arms for another toss. He fired a few shots to cover himself, the destroyers returning fire almost right away, but failing to connect with him as he ran and reached the wall across from where he had started, jogging forward on powered mechanical muscles. He hit the wall, but did not stop, his thick ceramite boots stomping dents into the vertical metal surface as he charged up its side, gaining altitude rapidly before reaching up with his left hand and grasping the lip of one of the lower hanging metal balconies. As he did, he allowed his right arm to aim downward, holding his thick bolter one-handed as he hung above them, unloading the full magazine into the droids below him. The maligned machines hesitated and even seemed to panic, half simply dropping their grenades to the ground as they attempted to fire up at him, while the other half stupidly activated and tossed the explosives, making themselves prime targets for his bolts.
Nice.
Most of the white skeletons and half of the black were eradicated right away, either caught in sprays of bolter fire or in the sudden blasts born from their own intercepted grenades. Once more, the destroyers proved resilient, though they had a lot of trouble managing their aim directly upwards. Ammo expended, Arachnus cursed and tossed away his blessed bolter and released the foot of the metal balcony, dropping down on top of both of the destroyers beneath him as he whipped out his combat knife in a single fluid motion. His boots hit the energy fields with solid thumps and screeches of reactive radiation, but after their force was stolen away, his feet began to sink through the fields almost instantly, the destroyers struggling to orient and fire accurately with the long noses of their rifles once his body began slipping past their shields.
You're right. Thick ceramite boots, thick boulder, thick DNA. Thick, brother.
Crushed both of the destroyers under either boot, hacking their heads off with his knife before they fell away, backtracking rapidly out of the aftermath and only narrowly managing to avoid the energetic strikes of the remaining 4 commandos. Arachnus hopped onto his toes and began to bob and weave his massive form, making himself unpredictable, flipping his knife into a reverse grip as the 4 agile abominations spread out and drove in, aiming to cut him down from several different angles. The symmetry of their machine minds was perfect, too perfect. For a mortal man, such calculations would have been superior. Yet, for an Astartes, such things, while still blindingly fast...
My brain was thick when making this episode. Understandable, man. My brain feels pretty thick right now.
...were predictable. When he observed the even spacing between all 4 vectors, their synchronized striking patterns, and their use of ordered, almost predetermined executions, Arachnus realized these combat AI were far from the most lethal he had ever contended with. Which was good, because they outnumbered him by a large margin. Once more, he took the initiative, running in towards their center and diving down into a boot-first slide. The 2 who had attempted to flank him found themselves scraping unwillingly past their target, servos screeching as they attempted to redirect their momentum to catch him. The 2 near the center drove their swords down, seeking to impale the Marine as he slid low between them. His blade-bearing hand deflected one strike, while the other, free hand, slapped the flat of one of the blades, knocking it aside and taking the offending droid by the wrist. It all happened in mere milliseconds, and then he was past, dragging one of the black skeletons after him as he rolled
have a bad
upright,
time.
crushing and smashing it against his knees and body as he did, letting it drop once he had risen and stomping over its face and chest. The remaining 3 had not paused to mourn their 4th, however, and now they all drove in from the center, each covering the other. Arachnus reached down with a numb, free hand, fumbling for a smoke grenade as he retreated back. The delay in his reaction almost cost him dearly as the droids forced him to hasten his retreat, cutting shallow slices out of his armor as they sought his vitals, their vibroblades turning the ceramite they touched to fine powder. The adamantium blade of his knife held back their most lethal strikes, however, and after a brief round of parrying and counter-strikes, he leapt back once more, throwing his smoke grenade into their faces. The grenade, of course, produced much more than smoke, emitting 32 kinds of sensory impairment countermeasures.
Nice.
The cloud of smoke both shimmering brightly at first before becoming opaque as night. The droids floundered,
Sick.
blind and deaf in the sudden mire, but Brother Arachnus, just as deaf and just as blind, did not. His photo-perfect memory held the exact instant before his grenades had detonated crisp and clear in his mind, and he let
Nice.
it, his
Get him.
speed,
Get
and
him,
his
boys. Get
predictions
him.
guide him. And they guided him true. Steel spilled steel in the screeching union of death meeting false life. And when the cloud of billowing, storm-like smoke cleared, Arachnus stood over the butchered corpses of the 3 remaining commando droids. He looked up, locating his bolter, and taking it up again, checking it for damage and then reloading the sturdy implement of doom. Staring back down the way the droids had come, he could see no more approaching. Yet, when he turned to take up his position again, he found something else standing there by the corner. A man, an old man.
Oh.
He stood regally, with an air of imperious authority that Arachnus had
Are we gonna deal with Dooku? Ooh.
seen on many inquisitors and lord generals alike. Though this person, whoever he was, could be neither. He wore the stylish but comparatively plain clothing of this planet's nobility, and he bore no obvious cybernetics or signs of rejuvenation, despite the fact that his hair was nearly as white as his sickly old skin. For all the signs of his advanced age, however, Arachnus could see no weakness
A
within the
signature
man,
look of
and
superiority,
the red,
yes.
glowing blade of light which the man held out to his side was all the sign the Space Marine needed to know that this man was a hostile force.
Yes.
For a brief moment, both locked eyes through Arachnus' helmet lenses, neither moving. And then, in a sudden burst signaled by nothing more than instinct, both warriors reeled up in action and extended their lethal powers towards the other. Arachnus pivoted on his heel, bringing his bolter to bear and unloading his freshly replaced magazine.
I would like to think... I'm sorry, I think Dooku's gonna win this one. I think Dooku's gotta win this one. I'm sorry, homie.
Self-propelled bolts screamed through the air like miniature meteors, bursting and exploding violently as they made contact with the stream of warp lightning that poured out from the fingers of the old man's free hand. Arachnus cursed his bad luck. Another witch!
Yeah.
The surge of corrupting power traveled up the rain of exploding bolts like a nest of hungering snakes, entering the barrel of the gun and forcing Arachnus to toss away his weapon just as it exploded. The fragments of his beloved bolter showered him in a hateful rain of burning metal as he drew out his combat knife again. But he barely had time to intercept the red blade of his enemy's weapon as it came upon him, stabbing towards one of his 2 hearts. The adamantium of his combat knife lit and glowed like molten steel, but managed to push aside the lethal bar of light before it could pierce his body. The old man had traveled very far, and the strength in his arm was far greater than that of a normal human. Arachnus sought to strike at the man, but couldn't find a moment or opening to do so, wincing and backstepping as he contended with the dueling psyker's rapid pace. His knife was burning his hand even through his armor, and he pushed away and barely avoided strike after strike. Bright orange lines appearing across his armor as the near misses began to pile up. All the while, the man he fought kept a smug, imperious expression, his body moving like a wicker doll, precisely shifted and controlled on strings and strength born of the hellish warp. The front of the Astartes' boot came away, taking most of his foot with it,
Oh.
Then a portion of his forearm was seared off, and then a bright tongue of fiery pain licked across his thigh. Arachnus heard more than felt his combat knife fall out of his useless hand as the witch's red blade bit deeply into his wrist, using the loss to raise his free arm and bring it down in a murderous haymaker destined for the old man's head. But this too was stopped when the Psyker thrust his own free hand into the Space Marine's chest, pushing hard and throwing the warrior back against the wall, where his injuries forced him to slump down and collapse. He reached up and activated his Vox with his one good hand.
Benitez, Olantis, I am defeated. The enemy has me and will be upon you soon. He is a single Psyker with a power sword.
The Marine began to report.
At least he got that
Save
out.
your breath. They are already dead. The old man said in flawless high Gothic, the result of a collar-mounted translator device, Arachnus would realize. More droids appeared then, the black kind, but not from outside the perimeter, as he would have expected, instead appearing from behind the position he had taken up beforehand, from where his fellow Marines should have been. He growled viciously, trying to rise, and failing as the old Psyker came to stand over him, staring down his nose at the defeated Astartes with only a mild disdain.
More of us are coming. This planet will be ours.
Arachnus spat, hatred grinding past every syllable he spoke. The old man merely raised a sarcastic eyebrow, and then laughed lightly and once. Then, without warning, he plunged his saber into the Marine's primary heart, holding it there, and using the warp to restrain Arachnus' remaining functional limb as he did.
Dude.
You lost this war before you started, fool, he said before twisting the red blade and tearing it out the side of Brother Arachnus' chest.
Sorry, I
cutting
haven't
through
played...
his remaining...
Look, I haven't played Dawn of War 2 yet, so I don't know all the references yet. I'm sorry. I wish I knew, but it's a... Dawn of War 2, I've only played the first one.
Second heart in the process. The Space Marine rasped one last hateful breath before the light faded from his eyes and he slumped down into eternal stillness. The Sith Lord deactivated his blade and sighed, wiping a sheen of sweat from his wrinkled forehead.
Oh.
That should be all of them, he said. We have located
So
the
he
charges
was
they
having
set.
a rough time,
Should we
maybe a
begin
little
disarming them? Asked one of the nearby commando droids. No, you heard the savage. There will be more of them, and even if we protected this generator, I cannot protect them all, said Count Dooku. Roger, roger. What next? Asked the droid. Prepare the stealth ship. I'm evacuating the planet, he said, turning away from the large corpse he had created and walking towards the hangar. Very well. Shall I inform the rest of the Separatist Council? The droid asked, following at Dooku's right as the other commando droids began to salvage what they could from the dead Marine, as they had done with the others. And risk informing the Imperials of my intentions? No. And besides, with the arrival of this new foe, I do believe that the Council has now outlived its purpose.
Yep.
Assure them that the shields will hold, and that Grievous will come for them. Say no more than that. If they ask for me, inform them that I am valiantly defending their safety, the Sith Lord said. He then turned to the droid and paused. How is General Grievous progressing on his front? He asked. The droid paused for a moment, receiving information before responding. Not well. It appears that General Grievous will be unable to prevent the Imperial fleet from continuing its bombardment. Estimations dictate it will be anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes before the bombardment resumes, it said. Count Dooku considered that, and then shrugged, continuing on his way. A pity. Truly, a pity.
Oh my gosh, Dooku. Vibes.
Suffer not the unclean to live. Lead us from death to victory, from falsehood to truth. Lead us from despair to hope, from faith to slaughter. Lead us to his strength and an eternity of war. Let his wrath fill our hearts. Death, war, and blood.
Get ready, that beat is gonna drop.
Serve the Emperor. In the name of Dawn.
Ba, 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 ba. This is a vibe. Rip all those guys. That's, as Dooku said, a pity. Witness the death of the Confederacy of Independent Systems. I'm sorry, my dudes. Sorry, my dudes. Thank you for the bits. It's rough for the dudes. It's rough. This is why I like to be on... Okay, it sounds bad, but it's like why I like to be on the side of the Imperium. Because, I don't really have to deal with this. It's just the moral issue. The moral... the moral problem. But no, that does really suck. Ooh, yes. Dino, thank you for the bits. This is a good episode. This is a good episode. I liked it. Not Padme about to have the twins. Ooh. One more? No. You already got lucky that you got one from me. And it took us an hour and a half to get through an hour-long video? No. You already got the one. Because the next one is... They're shorts. Next time we'll watch the short, then we'll watch the exciting episode 25. I gotta get to sleep. Don't you want me to be well rested tomorrow? Didn't you want me to be rested? We'll chat. We're not gonna end. We'll chat though. Thank you, Tuber. That's perfect. If you missed part of the story and you're not familiar with parts of it, we just finished episode 24 today. So if you want to go appreciate Fan and his wonderful work, you should do that. You should do that. I'm not going to bed just yet. We'll chat. We'll chat. I just don't have it in me to do another hour and a half. Sleep is for the sleep is for the Xenos? What? Excuse you. Excuse you. Humans need to sleep. Humans need to sleep. There's actually a whole discussion how this one chick wanted to sleep so badly. Rude. Rude. So, anyways, My brain just stopped working. See you tomorrow if you're streaming? Yes, I am streaming tomorrow. I am going to... We're going to be painting some minis tomorrow. So it's going to be like chill vibes. 8 a.m. Pacific time. It'll be good. It'll be good. Well, I was going to say a thing and then I forgot. My brain just... it stopped. Head empty. No thoughts. No thoughts here. Be more like Admiral Rolla. Forego sleep for duty. She kind of want... Oh, I guess she doesn't really want to sleep. She didn't like sleeping before. Yeah. I'm gonna rest my voice and play some Rogue Trader. Yes, go play Rogue Trader. I want to play it. I want to play it on stream, but it's just too many words. Too many words for me to really, like, read aloud, and you actually have to make good choices for that game, so I can't really play it on stream. When I have time, I want to play it. I've heard some of the DLCs are really, really good. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about the list of Horus Heresy books I need to read. I'm thinking I finished the Primarch books. Horus Heresy book chart. Yeah, we'll take the chart. Lots of books. It's a whole timeline. But I just want to, like, read all of them. Horus Heresy book list. Excellent. Google shows me... Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm sorry, Google. You don't show me all the books. You only show me 51 books. It only shows me 51 books. It doesn't show me, like, 68 books. 64. Ugh. Bring up the flowchart. It's hard to read. It's hard to find one that's, like, good graphics. I was wondering, Aurelia, are you going to be playing the expansions of Dawn of War before playing 2? I don't know. I don't know yet. I have no idea. So... I legit do not know. I have no clue. Maybe it's a sign the rest aren't good. What do you mean? No, that's not true. It doesn't show any books after 2018. It goes in order of, like, when they were released, so from 26 to 2018. So I think it's just missing a chunk of books. Yeah, I got a lot to read. Hang on, I'm gonna look at this list. Okay. Do they count? Horus Heresy, Siege of Terra. Okay, they do count the Primarch novels. So I think I'm gonna try to finish all the Primarch novels first. So I can at least say I got this chunk done. Because I've read the Rabute Gilliman one, Magnus the Red, Perturabo, Fulgrim, Jagatai Khan, Angron. Ooh, man, I gotta catch up. I haven't read the Conrad Curse one. Rogel Dorn, Sanguinius, Alfarius. Oh man, I still got a lot to read for that section. I read a lot of the End and the Death. Era of Ruin is a new one that came out, so maybe it's 65 now. 65 books. I got the Sanguinius book, the hard book. I saw that in the Discord, and I'm so jealous. I was like, man, I'd love to have that. Just, like, on my shelf, nice to read, because I only have the audiobooks. I want to read the Siege of Terra. Maybe I go through those next. So many books. So many books. At least the other ones are in order. Well, they have numbers. Are they really in order? Let's see, because I haven't read most of them. I've read Horus Rising, A Galaxy in Flames, Fulgrim. Didn't read that one. First Heretic. Fear to Tread. Dang, I have not read a lot of these. Shoot. Shoot. There's a lot of books. Corax. I read Corax. Yay, I got something. Master of Mankind. And... Wolfsbane. Oof. Okay, I got a lot to read. I thought I was farther along. Think of my 48 books, maybe it's like 20 of them, 25 or so, are part of the Horus Heresy series. I have to double check. I have to check. Ugh. I read Master of Mankind first and it permanently affected my perception of the Banana Boys, right? I love them. They're so cool. I don't know if you thought it was a good thing. I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool. But that's, I'm a little biased. I'm a little biased. Do. Eh. I love books based. I love books too, Rob. Rob, I love books. Hi, Aurelia. Sorry, I'm late. I'm fighting heresy. No worries. You were fighting heresy? That's okay. That's 100% okay. What's been my favorite book so far? I told this to Bricky, and so, like, I'm torn, because I've read a lot of books, but I really liked Lion, Son of the Forest. That was one of my favorites. I also liked Fear to Tread. It's tough. It's tough, man. I don't know. It's hard to choose. It's hard to choose. But I think we gotta go. I gotta go through and read. I want to read all the Horus Heresy books. I want to know all the juicy details, but that's a lot of books. If only you had a tier list to show people to how you answer that question. Well, I do, but it's not updated. It has like 20-something books on it. I guess technically it would be about the right time to like add more to it. I'd have to go do that again. We'll see. Maybe I'll do that again. It's hard because like I just tear through the books and I enjoy them. I don't really I don't have a whole book report as to why I particularly like this book over another one. I just like the book or I didn't really. So it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard. How about when I get to 50? We get to 50, I'll update them. I feel like that's fair. Add new ones every 25 books. If any of you want to know how many books I've actually read and which ones specifically, on our Discord server there's a channel that it's like a little FAQ, little about me section, if you will. On there, I have a list of every book I've read, and I updated it today. Was it today or was it yesterday? Today. Yeah. It's a long list because I've read 45. So yeah. Oh, I need to add something to that. Do. But yeah, I have a whole list if you are interested in looking at it. It's quite involved. You may think she keeps a list for our benefit, but it really is because she'd forget what she read. So okay, when you've read that many books, how do you keep track of it? I had to scroll through my Audible to put that list together, and it is an order in which I read all of the books. It's a big thing of block text. It looks so ugly. It looks so ugly and unorganized, but whatever. Is reading over 100 books worthy of a title? Yeah, I don't see why not. There's about a little less than 400, I think. Overall. Dude, I would be so motivated. If GW handed out prizes to people, legitimate prizes for having read all the books. I don't know how you prove that you read all the books. Because even if you buy them on Audible, you can mark them as finished and all that jazz, but like... I think it would be awesome. I would be so motivated. So motivated. I love a good competition. Those little tests like the Pizza Hut thing? What Pizza Hut thing? What? Huh? Usually just summarizing them to the best of your ability. Can you imagine a test like that? I guess what they wouldn't ask you about every single book. They would just ask you about some of the more like obscure books. Like, hey, can you tell us what happened in this book? Which I could. If you like picked any one of the books, I could give you like a little like a little paragraph, maybe 2 paragraphs on like what was in each one. I could do that. Quiz me! Quiz me! Quiz me! Someone pick a book. Pick a book that's not a Sanguinius book. Pick a book that you're like, I don't know anything about this book. Or maybe you do. It's like your favorite book. Pick a book. Pick one. Test me. Quiz me. I long to be tested. Night Lords, that's not a book. Try again. That's not a book. It's either you're talking about... You'd have to be talking about Soul Hunter, specifically. Are you asking about Soul Hunter? War Boss is not on the list. You have to go to the Discord server, and it'll tell you the list of books I've read. You want to know about Soul Hunter? Man, that one was like a really good one, though, so I know that. Basically, we're talking about Talos, who basically was the only one who listened to Conrad Kurz. Well, he actually didn't listen, if we're being honest. He basically decided to go after the assassin lady who killed Kurz. Spoilers, by the way. I'm sorry, spoilers. He kidnapped a lady and... I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I was like, all right, go. And then I was like, oh. No, we're not getting into specifics where you're quizzing me the name of the demon princesses and their specific names. That's dumb. Slanesh is the name of the chaos god. But back to Soul Hunter. He kidnaps a navigator. She's not happy about it. Lots of bad stuff goes on. But she suddenly, slowly over time, is like, you know what? This is okay. This is fine. Is that good enough? I'm getting sidetracked by some of the messages. No, we're not doing specific question quizzes. I just said that. We're not gonna do it. That just proves you can, like, throw back information, like, now. Like, specific details, that's, like, I don't know. Assassinorum, Kingmaker, that one was fun. Assassins get sent to a night world to take out the monarch. And basically, it's really funny, because it's, like, 3 different types of assassins working together. From the different, like, Assassinorum factions. It's really good. Prepare to name all 40,000 Warhammers. Joe, Steve, Larry, Craig. It sounds like Suicide Squad. Well, it's not really. Although technically... No, actually, I won't spoil that one either. I won't spoil that one. But if I was actually getting quizzed by GW people, then I would spoil it, because if they don't know, like, come on, man. Come on, man. Okay. That is enough. It is... This was a good quiz. What's going on? We were just chatting after we watched some Star Wars versus Warhammer 40k. I'm going to get off, and I'm going to take a nap or just go to sleep. Probably just go to sleep. We'll find out. So thank you for joining, everyone. Please join the Discord server if you haven't. I will be on at 8 a.m. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Species 316, thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs on the YouTube side. Thank you, I appreciate it. Please say thank you if you just got given a subscription, and welcome to the Auxilia. Welcome. Anyone thinking Orc Sherlock Holmes would be hilarious? Okay, ALJ, that would be funny. I just don't know how... I don't know how well that would work. I think it would be funny, though. Thank you for the super chat. So, I will see you all tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific time, for some miniature painting, and then on Sunday, Dawn of War, 2 p.m. Pacific time. Okay? It's gonna be a great time. It's gonna be fun. So all of you, get your rest, go to the gym, work out, do everything you're supposed to do, and I will see you, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye!